What is wrong with people? Seriously, what is wrong with us? Like a South African man was actually caught trying to smuggle his girlfriend during the lockdown. Look, I do understand that it's terrible and it's hard on a lot of people during this lockdown for some people to eat or kind of go do their hustle and maybe find a way to gain some money to go feed themselves. And in South Africa, a lot of people are struggling. Some people are actually breaking into schools and vandalizing the schools and stuff like that, which doesn't make much sense anyway. But to actually try to smuggle a girlfriend through the car booth makes no sense to me. It's like I'm wondering what is wrong with you, you know. Now, whether you believe in this thing, whether you think coronavirus is real or not, still being precautious seems like a good idea to me anyway. Being sensible about your approach to things seems like a good idea. So one would assume that wherever your girlfriend was, you could have been with her there. But to try and put a person in a car's boot and just try to smuggle them through it's just like, I'll give you A for effort, but like it sounds dumb to me. It is something else. It's like I'm just wondering why. Like, what's the main reason? It seems like a lot of us can't be by ourselves. It seems like a lot of us just staying at home seems to be like a real effort for a lot of us. Like in Ghana, they call like a 17-year-old when Ghana had their lockdown, going to see the boyfriend. And it's like, wait, this is not gonna last forever. This will pass. I mean, Ghana lifted its ban just on Monday actually. So why couldn't this person wait? Surely it wasn't that hard to wait. Waited a couple of days, maximum is a week or two, and yeah, you could be with your boyfriend. So there was no point, there was no incentive in trying to put yourself in danger or getting out there, because hey, we also know how African police and those kind of security people can act anyway. Now, I do not agree with the brutality that they do, but a lot of them will take the law into their own hands. In Nigeria, they were accusing police of killing more people than coronavirus. Uganda, some police and soldiers are actually going on trial for it. We've seen a lot of videos coming from Ghana where police are, being people. So, people, it's not worth it. And there's a funny bit. In Kenya, right? In Kenya, people were actually traveling with a coffin just so that they can pass through security checks. So they pretend to be, people who are actually mourning their dead. And we're just traveling with coffins. It's like people are coming up with all sorts of, genius ways of going around this thing. Yeah, we hear you, the country is on lockdown, but hey, we got our own ways of making this thing work for us. Yeah, we hear you. I said somebody's putting somebody in a car boot. We're just gonna pretend, this coffin has a body, and then we're just trying to, go bury the person or whatever it was. And they also got caught when they opened the coffin. There was nobody in there, and this was in Kenya. So look, some of the things we are trying to do sounds so dumb to me. I said, it's A for effort, it's A for thinking outside the box. But in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, it sounds dumb. You would think people want to be safe. You would think people would take precautions. You think when people hear these numbers, they'll be more scared. And again, I'm not talking about yes, unwarranted fear is not a good thing, right? And fear in general probably is not a good thing. But at times we have to be very, very cautious. We have to be very, very careful about how we go about things, because a lot of things can have huge implications, can have a huge impact on us. Like a Ghanaian nurse who was pregnant died in the UK of this disease. Again, as I said, we could all, talk about the conspiracies and all these other things, but I still think prevention is better than cure. Whichever school you subscribe to, whether you think this is real or not, please be careful. Please be careful. It's just some of these things are not necessary. That's all I'm trying to say. Some of these things we're trying to put ourselves in, some of the hoops we're trying to jump through are not necessary. It's not worth it. You would think people will be a little bit more sensible about that. You think people understand this by now. But it seems like a lot of us have not. A lot of us don't appreciate or seem to not appreciate the true implication of some of these things or some of our actions. So people, please be careful out of your family. Please, think to yourself this way, or look at things this way. Is it necessary? If whatever you think you're doing is necessary, go ahead. But please, if you can afford it, if you know it's not necessary, if it's something that can wait, why put yourself in danger? As I said, even if the implications of your actions are not true, even if you think you're not going to get this, even if you think you're immune to this thing, even if you think it doesn't even exist, is it necessary to get out there, having an encounter with a policeman or a soldier, knowing where we come from, and then getting yourself into all this mess? Is this necessary? Like what? A Ghanaian pastor, they ban churches, open the church, and now he's going to go to jail. It's not necessary. I think it's an excessive form of punishment, but he's going to go to jail for no reason. And even if it's just 2 days in jail, even if it's 3 days in jail, was it necessary for you to be away from your family based on the fact that you went to open a church, based on the fact that you went to the church to preach? The point is, you could have, there's so many ways of doing this nowadays. There's Facebook Live, YouTube Live. You can have your own WhatsApp group. You could do all sorts of things. You can send voice notes to your congregation and everything. So just going to open the church doors was not necessary. But most times we still want to do this. We want to continue putting ourselves in danger. Want to, keep putting ourselves on the front line of saying things that is easy to avoid. It's something that's avoidable. And I don't think, that's a good way to live life. Now, this other story is kind of funny. And it's just, look, it's about this, again, a Kenyan politician who giving out, these hampers for the people affected by coronavirus, or people who could have been affected, people on the lockdown, basically. No, actually people who are affected, giving hand sanitizers and all sorts. And he threw in, a little some, a little of the devil's beverage. Something that makes, the older folks a bit happy. And that was Hennessy. This guy didn't even go for local, alcohol. He did not go for even a cheap range alcohol and all. He went for a classy one. He went for, a top range one. He gave them Hennessy. Now, his reason for giving them Hennessy, even though it's wrong according to the WHO, I don't see why people are actually, kind of coming down hard on him. I sincerely do not get it. He's misinformed, but I don't make him a bad person. Because they said alcohol helps in the fight against the coronavirus, and his thoughts, at least according to the report, is that, by drinking alcohol, at least you can sanitize your throat. Again, you would question the people that hangs around you. You question his researchers. You question his, his assistants and people that are his aides that help him, read things or explain things to him and get him by. I'll question them. But even if they also got it wrong, even if they got the WHO, directive wrong or order, whatever it is wrong, I still think, people are blowing this out of proportion and people are actually, being a little bit over the top with what the man said or what the man did. It's not like, look, come on, we got better things to worry about. This man's heart was in the right place. At times we have to, judge people based on intent rather than the main act itself. This was not a man that did something out of he had good intent. Basically, that's what point I'm trying to make. He had good intent about what he was trying to do. So please, people, cut him some slack. And besides, Hennessy is a good thing anyway. Hennessy is a good alcohol. Alcohol in general might not be good, but Hennessy is a good alcohol. Okay, so cut him some slack and let's stop this nonsense about making it into like a little big deal whereby we all know how much corrupt some of the politicians in Kenya are and how much corruption goes on in there. And if somebody is actually trying to do good, even though in this instance his reason might have been bad because the WHO says actually the drinking alcohol doesn't really do anything against the virus, but at least his heart was in the right place and was trying to help the people. And I think that counts for something. And talking about helping people, before I run off, there's one footballer that's actually done something, and it's not just him anyway. What's it called? Drogba did a similar thing, but the former, Barcelona footballer, Inter Milan striker, Chelsea striker, one of the fine footballers in Africa anyway. And one of the fine footballers who have come out of Cameroun, Samuel Eto'o. My man is actually, going out of his way to help 100,000 people in Cameroon. Let that sink in, right? 100,000 people, and it's going to help them with food stuff, hand sanitizers, and all sorts of things. And I thought, he deserves a shout out, because most times, a lot of people rather broadcast, when people with a bit of name, celebrities or whatever you want to call them, when they do bad things, and that's what we usually shed more light on. And I thought, at least our people are standing up to be counted, And he was one of the very few people, the moment, that whole craziness with the French doctors came up about trying to put vaccines in Africa. He, Drogba, and a couple other people were the first to actually jump on those issues and try to, lend their name and their fame to the whole movement and to try and stop this thing anyway. Now, whether that was stopped or not is a whole different ballgame. But at least they did speak against it. They speak out about it, which at times take a little bit of brave to do that. Some level of, cojones to actually do that. But as I said, he's actually out here trying to help his people. I mean, helping 100,000 people is actually a great deal. And as I said, even if it costs him like £1 for each person, that's £100,000, which is a lot of money. Okay. And even if it's not a lot of money, some people need this help. And he's actually out here trying to help people. And for that, Mr. Eto'o, I say, merci. Thank you. Thank you for thinking about your people. Thank you for actually, having good intent, having a heart to think of others, not just about yourself and your own immediate family, but to think beyond that and lend a helping hand to all those people that might be affected one way or the other by this pandemic that we're all dealing with. And people, stay safe out here. Peace.